saw from a distance fire falling from the heavens. The land that once bragged of snakes and deer now goes with big smoke and the smell of burning carcasses. Yet, out of the ashes, a bright green sprout broke out and established itself as a symbol of hope. The restoration process had begun. Being the only survivor of the fire, the eucalyptus plant absorbed the nutrients from the carcasses of plants and animals. And the little girl, filled with curiosity, wandered into the forest and picked up the eucalyptus sprout, breaking the stem. This story I shared with you represents the ambiguous idiosyncrasy in which suffering occurs, such that even life forms without moral consciousness face suffering, just like us. And whether the recipient happens to be a poisonous snake or a graceful doe, suffering has an unconditional nature, even to an eucalyptus sprout. I remember when I was naive, I thought that life's misfortunes only fell on those who commit injustices. However, I think we can all agree that suffering is unavoidable. You see, I learned the unconditional nature of suffering through my mother. The stress of being a single parent and working unhealthy jobs her whole life has had a burden on her body. Until 2016, she worked at a dry cleaner's, earning $10 an hour, working over 12 hours daily. Though the long hours were taxing on her body, the chemical use in dry cleaning was far worse. It poisoned her. And because of the frequent exposure to the chemical, she endured skin rashes and unbearable stomach aches. I was so frustrated to see my mother struggle to make ends meet despite the rigor of her job. Because every month, the earnings she made were exhausted by debt and bills. And I couldn't imagine how frustrating it was for my mom to live her life. I believe many of us here today share an existential crisis. Some of us wonder if they're the only ones experiencing nihilism and emptiness. Well, I too have frequently contemplated on reasons why I should live in a world where agony trumps joy and time confines pleasure. The truth is, although suffering is unavoidable, taking responsibility establishes purpose. Just like my mother voluntarily burdened herself to raise me, through relationships, we will begin to realize what makes life truly meaningful. Romans chapter 5, verses 3 to 4 state, "As suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope." From my mother, I have learned that suffering isn't a consequence. Suffering is a crucible that germinates new life. Through seeing my mother work countless hours without sleep, I learned the meaning of self-sacrifice. I learned to be courteous from seeing her bullied because of her poor English. By nurturing and conversing with my stressed mother, I learned how to sympathize with others. Out of her ashes, my passion to help the disadvantaged was born. To my classmates that are questioning their purpose in life, I advise you to do the following. First, take responsibility for yourself and admit that you are worth the care and discipline because each of you has the potential to carry the weight of others. Then, take responsibility for your family and community. By doing so, the burden of maintaining these relationships will give you reasons to persevere. And continue to voluntarily burden yourself with a greater range of existential challenges to further deepen your imprint in this world. Finally, share your stories of hardships and lessons learned to catalyze a trend of people living meaningful lives. The fact that all of us will suffer excites me, because out of the ashes of those who suffer for us, our own suffering will conceive new life and provide light to others, just as my mother did for me and my brother. As we finish high school and venture out into the real world, I hope that our During our hardships, we remember to persevere and suffer with purpose for others. And with this in mind, class of 2019, congratulations on finishing high school. I wish until the next time we meet, we'll all germinate into colossal eucalyptus trees that initiate the restoration process and provide life to others. Thank you.